Hello to all of you beautiful bakers and welcome back to BlueBell Bake. My name is Jordan, I'm your favorite average baker and media maker, and today we are going to be making cake balls. This is actually the very first recipe that I ever made by myself when I first started baking, and I am so excited to share it with all of you. So with all of that being said, here's everything you need to make the recipe. So to make cake balls, you are going to need your favorite boxed cake mix as well as your favorite tub of frosting. You of course can make the cake by homemade or you can make the frosting homemade. However, a boxed cake mix and a tub of frosting is just a little bit quicker. You're also going to need some candy melts or melting chocolate, again, any flavor that you want, decorations, and then last but not least, the ingredients you need to actually make your cake. Not a lot of ingredients for this, however, there are quite a few steps and a lot of cooling times. So let's get right into it. So to get started with your cake balls, we of course need to make the cake. So what we're going to do is we are just going to make the cake by the instructions, however, a couple little twists. So we're not going to include the oil like you normally would for a boxed cake mix, and instead of water, we're going to be using milk. This just makes it a little bit more moist and taste, I guess, more homemade. So let's make the cake first. So in go our dry ingredients. All right, next you're gonna add your eggs and your milk, mix it all together, and you have a cake, or at least cake batter. Once all of your ingredients have combined with the dry, we're then going to add it to a 13x9 pan, or you can do round cake pans, whatever you want to use, and we're going to bake it according to the instructions. So for me, a 13x9 pan is going to bake at 350 for 30 to 35 minutes. After your cake has come out of the oven and it's cooled completely, we can now start to make the actual cake balls. So what you're going to do is we are going to first start crumbling the cake. So I took it out of their pan already and I'm just going to cut it into quarters. And then you're going to take your quarters and you are going to kind of like rub them together and it'll start to crumble. And you can also use a hand mixer if you wanted to make it go by faster, or even a food processor. But sometimes you gotta get your hands a little messy. After you've crumbled your cake, we're now going to add the frosting, and you don't actually need as much frosting as you think. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a bigger spoon here, and we're gonna do about 2 big spoonfuls, and we're just gonna plop it right in. And that's all the frosting you're gonna need. So now once you've added your frosting, we're gonna mix it all together and make one big like goopy cake. After you've combined your frosting with your cake, the consistency that you're looking for is if you pick up just a little bit of lump and you kind of squeeze it together, it starts to form its shape. And that's when you know that it is mixed together well. So now what you're going to do is you can just kind of eyeball it if you want. I'm actually gonna use a cookie scoop to try to get a good size for my cake balls. And I'm just gonna kind of squeeze it between my hands, make sure it sticks together. And then we're going to roll it into a ball. After you roll into a ball, you're gonna put it onto a baking sheet, and then we're gonna pop these into the freezer and let them freeze or chill for about an hour, or you can put them in the fridge and let them chill probably for about 2 or 3 hours, but we're gonna do the freezer. So 1 hour and an outfit change later, we are ready to dip our cake balls. So what I've already done is I've actually kind of set up my little station here. I've got my sprinkles for decorating. I used my same exact baking tray with the parchment paper that the cake balls were on originally, and I put a cooling rack on there too, that way the excess candy melts can just drip right off. I have my cake balls, and then I have my melted candy melts. And then the other thing that I have is this little dipping tool. If you don't have one of these, that's totally fine. You can just use a fork or something. That works just as well. But here's how we're gonna do it. So I'm just gonna take one of my little cake balls, put it on my dipping tool, and then I'm going to dip it, coat it, and then I'm just going to tap my wrist. You do this just so it actually helps get the excess candy melts off. And once you're happy with that, then you're just going to transfer it right over. And then also too, while the candy melts are still wet, that's when you can decorate them. So I just have some holiday themed sprinkles because it's the holiday season, of course. So I'm gonna take just a couple of them and sprinkle them right on top. And that's it. So now we're going to continue dipping the rest of the cake balls and decorating, and then you can enjoy. After you've dipped all of your cake balls and you've let them harden, whether that was in the fridge or at room temperature, you are free to enjoy. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do try this recipe, let me know how it Wint in the comments below, or you can tag me on social media. My handle is @bluebell.bake, and that's on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. And if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe, like this video, again, comment, and don't forget to click that notification bell so you always know when I'm posting. And until next time, keep on baking.